everybody, and you're all very welcome to the next episode of our Advocacy Works podcast. I'm Siobhan Flynn, and you're all very welcome again today. I'm going to pass you over to my co-host.
Hi, I'm Philip Crosby, Chair of Regional Agri Council.
Hey, hi, Philip. How are you today?
Grand.
Good. And our other co-host?
Hello, I'm Claire Power.
You look forward to this episode, Claire?
Yes.
Good woman. Well, so what are we going to talk about today?
The National Advocacy Council Conference.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it's the Brothers of Charity National Advocacy Conference. And that's something that's been happening for over 25 years.
Has it?
So every year for the past 25 years, the Brothers of Charity Services Ireland has hosted a National Advocacy Conference. And I think the first one was back in 1999, which was a long time ago.
It is.
It was before I was even in the Brothers of Charity. I'm sure were you in the Brothers of Charity in 1999, Claire? No. Philip, can you remember? So over 25 years ago, you probably were around at that time, were you? I think you said before it was 30 years, so just about. So today's episode, we're just really going to focus on the whole experience of the conference, really, and why we have hosted a conference for the past 25 years. So I suppose initially it was set up, it was quite a small conference. It would have been just a small number of people went, but it has grown. Really has grown over the last number of years. Now, Philip, you're a newbie really to the conferences, aren't you?
I am, yes.
Yeah, so you've only gone for, how many conferences have you attended?
The one that's coming and last year's one, the two really.
Yeah, so two. In the last year and the year before you attended. But Claire, you're what's the word? You are
old hand.
An old hand. Thank you, Philip. At the conference, you've had lots of experience going to the conferences, haven't you?
Yeah.
So you've probably gone for the last 10 years, probably on and
I'd say
off,
so,
haven't you? Yeah. So so we'll do. I suppose in the Brothers of Charity, as we've said before, we've 6 different regions, don't we?
We have, yeah.
And each year, then each of the regions, one region would host the conference.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay, so who's hosting it this year?
This is hosted by Claire.
By the Clare region, yeah. And as you said, Philip, last year was in Cork.
Look.
And the year before that was Roscommon.
Yeah.
So it rotates, doesn't it, every year? Yeah. And in 2019 was the last time the South East hosted the conference.
Yep.
And Claire, you were very much involved in that, weren't you?
I was, yeah.
What kind of things did we have to do to get ready for the conference?
We had to get everything organised. I suppose for it, like bags, labels, badges and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so there are things that we needed for the day.
Yeah.
What other things that we had, like venue,
yeah.
We had to pick a hotel. So that involved people just going around and looking at the different hotels. And what was the important thing when we were looking at hotels for the conference? The room, yeah. Anything else that we had to take into consideration? Can you remember? Access, really, isn't it? So that people, people would have access to, was it wheelchair accessible?
It was.
Did it have enough parking? Different things like that, wheelchair toilets and stuff like that. The lift, is there a lift? Was that accessible? And was the conference room big enough?
It was.
Oh yeah, which is important, because when we hosted it in 2019, there was about, how many people? Can you remember how many people came to the conference that year?
About 200, maybe more.
Yeah, I think we had 280 came that year. So that would be. And where did everybody come from?
All over the world.
Well, not all over the world.
All over the services.
All over the services. Yeah, exactly. It feels like all over the world sometimes, isn't it? When having a lot of people in the room. But so when we did it in 2019, can you remember what we called it?
Walking in my shoes.
Walking my shoes, yeah, really, and that was our theme for the year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I suppose we did a lot of planning for that conference, and on top of all the stuff that we were doing anyway in our jobs and in our lives, we hosted the conference, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we started planning from the beginning of the year. When the conference finished the year before, we knew we had to do it, and so we kind of get planning. And can you remember what we did then to make sure we had people around, that it wasn't just myself and yourself, and a small team. What can you remember? What we
volunteers, I think it was.
It was like a volunteer, yeah. It was the committee, wasn't it? We got a committee together, and we got everybody to work from around the service in the southeast to do different jobs. So we had to pick the hotel. Yeah. We had to pick the band.
We did, yeah.
Which is important, isn't it? Yeah. That's important. That's actually, is that one of the most important things there?
And people for actually to host the conference, for someone to actually open it. Absolutely.
So there's all the different kind of things that people have to do for when you're hosting a conference. So it takes a long time.
It does.
Yeah. It takes a lot of planning.
It does.
And there's lots of work involved.
There is, yeah.
Is it worth it?
Yes.
Why do you think it's worth it, Claire?
You meet other people, and it's got to do with the conference itself. Like, it could be happening to all you. I can't think. Can you?
No, it's Philip, what do you think? So you've gone to the conference for the last couple of years. So you're a relatively newbie. When it comes to the conference, since it's around the last number of years. But do you think it's important that we have our conferences every year?
I do, yeah.
Why would you think that would? Why is it important?
Because you get to meet new friends and services from around other regions services.
Yeah, you get to meet new friends and then other people from other regions. Yeah, it's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what other things then about the conference is it that you think is important?
Getting to hear what other regions have to say about whatever they have on their agendas.
Yeah, on the team, really, isn't it? So, as we said, we did Walk in My Shoes in 2019. The other kind of themes that we've had throughout the years, there was one called A Voice for the Future. There was another one, Advocacy Beyond Services. I think that was our one we did as well. Inclusion and Are You Included? That was another one that we did. Can you remember the theme of last year's?
Reach for the Stars.
Reach for the Stars, yeah, that was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, and every time they had it as I'm playing it, every time
they had it on a few times during the day, didn't they?
Yeah.
We were all singing it. Yeah. So it's all about fun as well. It's not just about it's about learning, getting loads of different, as you said, things that are going on in different regions around the team and what are people doing and the issues that our people are coming up. But it's also around fun as well, isn't it? Yeah. Meeting people that we mightn't have seen since last year.
Yeah.
And doing things like that. So what happened when COVID hit though, Claire, when it came to the conference? Can you remember?
No.
So obviously our conferences are face to face. Everybody meets up in a hotel room.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people in a room and things like that. But obviously we couldn't do that with COVID.
No.
We couldn't do anything when it came to meeting with big groups and stuff like that. So can you remember what we did how we held our conferences in 2020 and 2021?
It was on a computer or something.
Yeah. We did a webinar, didn't we?
Webinar, yeah.
Yeah, so I suppose everybody felt it was really important that we continued our conferences, even though we couldn't meet.
It was on a webinar and it was online.
Yeah. So we planned together, all the regions planned together, really, didn't they, for that? Because it was so different for everybody. We had to come up with...
Because we couldn't meet face to face because of COVID.
Yeah, so it was important that we didn't not have the conference. We just had to see, okay, how can we move the conference so that everybody's still involved? We can still stay in our regions where we're living, and we didn't have to travel. There was none of that, so there wasn't. So we did that in 2020. We had our experiences during the COVID pandemic. That was the one. And then the following year we had Advocacy Works. That was our conference theme for that year. You can't remember that, Philip, do you? You mightn't have joined in on it at that time, but I suppose it shows that actually, even though we couldn't meet face to face, having the conference to the people in our service was really, really important, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think we were lucky that we could adapt, and we got lots of support from our IT department who helped us to make sure that we could get this the conference continue in COVID. So, and I think as a result of that, which we had tried, I think, in previous conferences where we would have had, not everybody could go to the conference because there's not enough. We don't have. Most hotels don't enough space. So we had initially then over the last few years before COVID even, we kind of looked at the opportunity where people could link in online. So we kind of started that before COVID, but I think since COVID the option now is that people, if you can't, if you're not lucky enough to get a ticket for the conference, then you
can do it online or on Zoom.
Yeah, you can join online on the day in the comfort of your own home or your own day service and things like that. So Claire, I am going to ask you a little bit to explain to the listeners what's the day of our conference like usually. What would it be? What does it start off?
Before we used to get up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning and go maybe for the 2 nights.
Yeah, so we used to, up till probably a couple of years ago, we would have gone to our conference the day of the conference.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And as we've said, that we're down the southeast of the country and the other regions are spread out. So we would have had a bit of travelling to do. And it would have meant leaving early in the morning. Wasn't it? Yeah. So it ended up being a very long day.
It was.
Okay, so you get to the conference then. What happens? The morning of the conference, what normally happens?
You go into to get your register and you get labels and bags and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, what's usually in the bags then? These are the conference bags. What would you usually get in the bag?
There could be anything at all. Bottles of water, like labels, sweets, every kind of thing.
Yeah, you could get pens. I think. What can you remember what I had in the conference bags last year, Philip? I think there was a reusable cup.
There was
that one, or maybe it was the year before?
I think it was last year.
Nice little bags that you can use again, and sometimes there's kind of pieces of art that people may have made in the service, and different little things. I think one year there was high vis jackets. So these are all things. Do you think it's important to have a conference bag?
It is.
Why would you think it's important, Claire?
You can say then say to someone else that they can go to the conference. Oh, I've been to this. Do you want to try and join yourself?
Yeah, very good. That's a good idea, isn't it? Do you think you like getting the bags? Do you, Philip?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. So then we've arrived on the morning of the conference. You've registered. Then you've got your bag, and then where do you go there? Then
you go into the room then.
You'd go into the conference room, wouldn't you? And then what would you normally go in? When you go in then, what would you normally see and what's the setup like?
It's pretty good actually. There's usually tables, chairs, and then sometimes there's names where you sit in there.
Yeah, you could have little labels. It depends. Each region will do it differently, but a lot of it's set up like the tables are all set up, and you can sit. And would you normally sit with your region, or would you normally sit with? Sometimes.
It all depends on who you're with, I suppose.
Yeah. So last year, I suppose, Philip, last year was your second one. So you probably sat with us in the region, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. So as the years go on, then I'm sure you'll be going to other regions and you'll be sitting in besides them then, won't you?
I will, yeah.
And then normally the conference would start
at 10 or 11, I think.
It's usually around 10 o'clock, 10, half 10, depends on the time, but it's up to the region to decide what time that starts off, isn't it? And then what kind of things, so you'd have picture theme, and then each of the regions would do a presentation. Wouldn't they? So Philip, you did a presentation last year. You did the Southeast presentation.
Yeah.
Yourself and another person will be supporting our service.
Yeah.
That we'll hopefully meet at a later date in another episode.
Hopefully, yeah.
And can you remember what the presentation was about last year? So the theme was Reach for the Stars. Remember that?
Yeah.
And we were talking about the world of
work.
World of work. Yeah. So can you just explain to how you did the presentation? What was it? Was it a video? Was it a song? What was it?
We had slides of pictures of work.
Yeah, it was a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
And yourself and I'm sure she won't mind us saying her name, Grace. Presented, didn't she?
We did.
And how did you feel? Because it was a big room.
It was.
I think it was about 300 at it last year.
It was, and because it be my first time having to stand up there in front of 300 people. I was absolutely nervous.
You were nervous, but you did it.
Yeah, but just stand there in front of 300 people is nerve-wracking in itself.
It's very nerve-wracking, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it can be difficult. And Claire will tell you about that as well. Yeah. So, but you did really well.
Yeah.
And the other presentations. Can you remember the other presentations from the other regions? Well, no, we're not going to go into detail about them. But were they a PowerPoint presentation, or were they videos, or were they? Can you remember?
There was a musical one, I think.
Yeah, there was music. Yeah, there was a few. But normally, for the last few years, I suppose, we've developed how we've done our presentations within our regions, and we've spent lots of time, and we kind of moved on to doing more videos and stuff. And I suppose the good thing about doing a video for the presentation is that it can be shared afterwards, can't it?
Yeah.
And that it... whereas, no, I'm not saying the PowerPoint can't be, that absolutely can, but the videos we can share then amongst our regions after the conference. So, well done on that last year, Philip, because it's not that easy.
No.
So it's not.
No.
So that brings me back to Clare, because in 2019,
yes,
we hosted it, as we said, in the southeast.
Yeah.
And what was your job for the day? Can you remember?
Oh, sure. I had to open the conference.
Yeah.
The first time.
You did first, yeah. So you emceed for the day, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
You were the person that was coming up and introducing people,
yes.
and making sure that everybody knew the running order. And how did you find that?
It was hard to do.
It is difficult, isn't it? Well, it's not easy to stand up in a group of people that you don't. Well, you know some people, but you don't know everybody.
No. I didn't know everybody there.
No, you only knew us, really, didn't you? But do you think advocacy has helped you with doing something like that?
Because before, I went to college for about 2 years, and that gave me more confidence to speak in front of other people instead of talking to you, Siobhan.
Well, yeah, that's very true, isn't it? So, and it's not an easy thing to do, standing up in front of people. No. So I think you should be very proud of yourselves for doing such a great job. And I think what we find after all our conferences is how well people supported from our services do at the conference. Yeah. And I suppose what we've also learned in our service is that as we've developed over the years, that there's less staff support needed on the stage. Which is great. It's your conference, it's not our conference as staff.
The only time you were there was to fit to the PowerPoint.
Yeah, and I was supposed to be hidden in the back, but I couldn't really because it was an open room.
Yeah.
But that was. I didn't need to stand beside you last year. That I don't need to do that. You didn't need that support, but it was important that. So things have developed in our conferences. So we've kind of gone from staff standing beside somebody to support them. Well, yeah, absolutely, there are people in our service who would need that support. But I suppose at our conferences we have developed over the years where then actually it's more.
Us.
Yourselves, yeah. And Claire, you did also a really important job at the time of our conference as well here in the southeast. Can you remember? And you were supporting other people.
Love.
You did some love.
I did,
yeah. So I suppose the important thing is that the conference is for everybody, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And it's important that we ensure that the information that's being given out at our conferences is accessible to everybody.
It is,
so we brought you are one of our experts in love. Yeah, and you did that for us on the day, as well as MCing.
I know.
As well as all the other things that you have to do when you're doing the conference. So it's a huge achievement, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think we were all very proud.
Yeah.
One thing we did in 2019 was we also did workshops in the afternoon.
We did, yeah.
There was 10 different workshops. And there was lots of different things. There was lots of fun things going on, wasn't there? We'd art and we'd the circus skills. There was some work done on a policy or the Human Rights Charter. Then Philip, you were involved in a workshop, weren't you?
Yeah, I was.
And can you tell people what the workshop was you were about? The one you were involved in was about?
As having Susan McGill was the one on the recreation department in the Brothers.
Yeah, the Sports and Recreation Department, and they'd done a film.
Yeah.
You were part of the film.
I was.
What was the film about? Can you remember? What one was that?
I can't remember.
You can't remember that. That's okay. But and it really was about. I think it was a relationship ones. But it was kind of like a question and answers, was it?
It was.
They showed the film, and then people could ask the stars of the film.
Yeah.
Some questions.
They did.
So that was a good opportunity, wasn't it?
It was.
But I suppose that's the way the conferences go every year. There's presentations and you have guest speakers.
You have, yeah.
You know, and they would they could be anybody.
Could be anybody.
You know, so I think last year there was a couple of guest speakers that Cork had arranged, organised, that came and met. So they're not everybody is from the service necessarily, but I think that's kind of. So then the conferences say finishes then around 4, 4:30, Claire.
Yes.
What would we normally do then?
You go to your room and relax or get ready for the night out then.
Yes. So. That's the so the night out, as Claire had said, but it's really just as a big party, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's actually the conference day is over. Any of the pressure is gone now, isn't it? And then it's time to celebrate.
Yeah.
And we celebrate well in the Brothers of Charity.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, I think we do too. Normally the evening time, as Claire, you know, you chill out. There's a bit of time sometimes to chill out or meet with your friends and get ready then for the dinner and stuff like that. And then we have. So Philip, you've gone to the. What do you think about the evening time? Would you prefer to just finish the conference and head back home?
No.
Or go to bed?
No.
No.
Yeah, party for a while and then go to bed.
Then go to bed. Yeah, it's good. It's a good way to finish off the conference, isn't it?
Let the hair down.
Yeah, let your hair down. Yeah, relax, enjoy some nice food.
Yeah.
And then there's what is there lots of that we do in the night time? Well, that drinking. Yes, Philip. But Claire, well, I was going to say dancing, but we've saved the drinking
and that as well.
and that as well. Yeah. But there's lots of dancing, isn't there?
Oh, there is.
Yeah, and a few drinks as well.
Yeah.
But look, I think could we say that that's the favourite part of the conference?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Why do you think that it's the favourite part, Claire?
You like I said, you meet the different people out.
Yeah, yeah. So you get to hang out with the people that you would have met last year, and you may not necessarily have kept connections with them during the year, or you might have met them at meetings and stuff like that.
That's all though.
Yeah, but that's all really though. But it's a great opportunity to catch up, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think we party well in the Brothers of Charity. I think we do well. In the conference. So is there anything else you'd like to say about if there was another organisation listening to this and they're thinking, oh, that's a really good idea, do you think they should, what would be your advice about going and planning a conference?
They should.
Yeah. Do you think it's good?
It is.
It's a good way of sharing information, isn't it?
It is.
And getting to know people and seeing that everything's what's going on.
Yeah, and also we haven't met before. Like at least.
Absolutely, it's people that you haven't met before as well. That's important, isn't it? And I suppose we do as I said, invited guests and things like that. I know HICWA came to the conference last year, and members of the HSE. So they're, they get to see, how we do advocacy within our service. And I think that's important. So is there anything else you'd like to say about the conference?
No.
And you said people should go, just plan it, go for it.
Yeah.
Come up with your team, book your band, get your hotel, and it'll all come into place. Huh?
Your price as well.
Your prices, you have to agree on your price, don't you?
Yep.
And then you have to get something for the draw for that. There's a raffle in the night time.
Yep.
You have to get that. There's lots of work to do.
There is.
So I think we're going to finish there. I think we hope that anyone who's listening has gotten an idea of what our conference and how it's grown over the last 25 years within our service. We know that people are lots disappointed because there isn't enough spaces every year, but I suppose it's great that we could get people to go online and log in on the day. So we hope you enjoyed this episode, and we look forward to talking to you in our next episode. So it's a goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.